Welcome to Smacky's Garage, where today we're going to be talking about projects that we have going on this winter, specifically for the 1969 Mustang. Up in New England, winter's coming, so with winter coming, we have to start worrying about snow. And gonna get to go on one of the last cruises, like formal cruises, this weekend in the car before I have to end up putting it away for winter. Now, before we start talking about the projects, gonna get the garage ready a little bit for winter. Gonna get the Shelby in the other garage. That's been cleaned out. Wife's out of the garage now, so this project's going over there. We'll make some room. Alright, so that's another vehicle away for the winter. Now with that moved out, we have some space here for another project. We just need to pick it up. We can start talking about projects that are going to be happening this winter. I think for us in the Northeast, the winter is one of the times when a lot of the car projects get done. The reason why that happens is because we have a lot of snow, a lot of salt on the roads. You're not going to be driving your cars that you care about out on the road because they're going to rust away. The way that I've broken up the projects are, there's going to be projects that I'm definitely going to do, like 100%. These are non-negotiable things that I need to finish up. Then the second group of projects are going to be projects that I'd like to get done that I really don't need to get done, or they're a lot of work for a little gain. So let's go ahead and let's start talking about the projects that I definitely want to do. Now for the first must project, we're going to be changing the rear end gear on the car. In the car, it came with a 325 open rear axle, and I want to change that to something higher than 350, and I'm going to go with a locked axle. I'm not going with a spool, but probably going to end up with maybe like an Eden True Track on the car. So I'm going to end up swapping that out, and we're going to do a full video on that swap, the replacement. Maybe we'll end up doing axles at the same time, but we'll see. Now in the interior of the vehicle, I'm going to work on getting the stereo working. We did a previous video this year when we were talking about getting the radio knobs on it. And one of the questions that I had out was, should I spend some time getting the original radio working? So the one that came with the vehicle originally from the factory, and a few of you guys said yes, so I'm going to spend some time getting this radio working. To do that, I'm going to have to end up taking out the dash, at least the top dash pad, and then I'm going to have to connect the radio in the back. Everything else should be set, but I believe I can get a new speaker, probably an upgraded one that goes in the dash, so we'll get that on and we'll get that working. After we go ahead and we get that done, we're going to work on the steering system on this car. On the steering, right now there's a little bit of resistance in it, which should not be there. So I need to end up getting that fixed up. We're going to end up going piece by piece in the steering system. Now, one of the things that I wanted to do with the steering system on this car is I actually want to replace the steering pump. So the original style steering pump that's on this vehicle right now, it actually has the wrong can on the back. There are multiple different styles of canister and tubing connections. The one that's on there right now isn't correct for a 69 Mustang, so that might be causing some of the issues that I've been seeing. So what we're going to do is we're going to fully restore an original power steering pump that we're going to put on the vehicle. We're going to take it all apart, change out all the gaskets, and make sure it works. We're also going to change out some of the steering linkage. I don't remember if the parts that I put on this car were original or if they were reproduction. So I ended up purchasing some new parts that we're going to end up replacing. We're going to go through, we're going to see where any of the wear is, and then we're going to work on replacing them. And then after we do that, we're going to clean up this mess of wiring in the vehicle. I could have done a better job wiring it, but I need to clean up the wiring from the MSD all the way back to the engine, to the ignition. The electric choke wiring is still there on the other side, so that needs to get cleaned up, replaced, or removed, depending on what I'm going to do with it. But you can see now it's kind of a nest of wires and tubes, and I want to go through the entire engine bay and clean everything up to make it look much better and much cleaner for car shows. Then one of the things that I wanted to do with this vehicle that I haven't done yet is try to see how it sounds with dumps. So instead of running exhaust tubes that come directly out the back there, I want to see what it sounds like with running dumps on the car. So I've actually picked these up that'll go on right behind the muffler that we can use to see how it sounds. I'm hoping for more of a deeper sound, but we will see. I'm really interested to see how it actually changes the tone of the vehicle and how how it changes the sound overall. So hopefully I'm going to be able to do that, do a full comparison, and be able to get a good recording of how it sounds. Then I'm going to do a video on what I learned during the restoration of this car. You know, I've learned a lot while building this, painting this, going through different parts, making sure that I have high quality parts versus kind of the cheaper low end parts, learning about what works, what doesn't, learning about what are the right tools that we want to use for doing a restoration like this, and what I would recommend. So we're going to have an entire video on everything that I've learned while restoring my vehicle, and we're going to cover everything from tools to parts to how to pick the right vehicle to restore. Now we'll talk about the maybe projects. You know, I really want to take the engine out. I don't want to take the engine out, but I want to clean up the engine bay completely around it. I think there are areas that are kind of semi-gloss black. There are areas that are gloss black. I think I can do a much better job pulling everything out, cleaning up the engine bay, repainting it, and then also repainting the engine block itself. I think, you know, it needs to be done. I don't know if it's this year or next year, but that's something that I want to do. While I have the engine out and the project out, I also, if you notice, I have the Mach 1 graphics on the car, so on the side. I don't have the Mach 1 flat black on the hood yet, or the center cowl. Part of the reason why I did that is because I've never painted over finished paint before yet, so I wanted to give it some time. But that is something that's kind of on my list to do. I probably should wait for spring. Part of the reason why I want to wait for spring is it's not easy to paint up here while it's this cold out. The car's running pretty good right now, but I've been debating taking off the intake manifold on this car just to reseal it. If you know anything about Ford FEs, that's kind of a pain. And the reason why that's a pain is because not only do you have to take the intake manifold off, but you have to take off the rocker arms, because the way the Ford FE is designed, you need to take off the rocker arms, you need to take out the push rods just to take the intake off. So it's kind of a pain, but I want to make sure that everything is sealed up correctly. I've heard that can cause some vacuum leaks over there on Bear Rose Garage. I think he was dealing with something like that on his FE, but I want to check it, but not 100% sure that I'm going to do that yet, based on all the other projects that I might have going on. And the car's been running pretty good recently. Now the next maybe is exhaust tips. So I got these a while back and I've been debating putting them on the car. These are the correct style exhaust tips for the 69 Mustang, but I actually have a 2.5 inch exhaust, so this is set up for a 2 1/4. If I wanted to put these on the car, I'd have to get the 2.5 inch version, which I think are like $150 to $200 each. So I'd be spending $400 on exhaust tips. That's not on the budget right now, but it's a maybe. And then one of the last items that I'm not completely sold on is some of the Mach 1s have a stainless steel strip across the bottom here of chrome. I've been debating putting that on. I haven't fully committed to it yet since it's not on there yet, and I just really don't like drilling into painted surfaces or painted body panels, because anytime you do that, chance for rust, chipping, damage. So we'll see where I get to on that for this winter, but that's a maybe, most likely yes. So with all that, still have a lot of projects to do on this vehicle this winter. There's probably some more that I'm forgetting. I have projects on the F-150 that I'm going to do, probably get some new Morimoto headlights for that. I also am working on getting the project car that'll go right here. Hopefully next week we're going to be moving it, but stay tuned. Thanks for tuning in to Smacky's Garage. I'll see you next time.